Hi, this is Arwani and welcome to Personal Development with Arwani. Today we're going to be talking about habits. You know how growing up you were always told about good habits and bad habits. So today we're going to go into more detail into that and how you can develop great habits which will eventually help you into obtaining your goals or the dream that you want to live. And maybe before we go into that, I just want to remind everyone that hasn't yet subscribed to our channel. Now is the chance. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and don't forget to switch on your notifications so that every time we upload a new video, you will be alerted. So what is a habit? How can one define habits? The easiest definition of habits that I've come across is a habit is a regular practice. So it is something that you regularly do, whether you're aware of it, whether you're not aware of it. And the longer you do this, it becomes your norm. You start doing such a practice without even realizing that you're doing it. It becomes your autopilot. And growing up, we had those common bad habits, such as talking with food in your mouth, and habits that were encouraged, or rather good habits, such as drink a lot of water. That's not what I'm going to be looking at today. Today I'm going to focus on how do you develop habits that will ultimately lead you to the goals that you want. How do you develop habits that will ultimately lead you to where you want to be? And I'm just going to touch on three things, three very simple things that they'll be easy to remember, and you can always refer back to them whenever you're looking at developing new habits. So the first thing, number one, is you have to know what you want. In order to develop habits, or rather good habits, habits that will help you lead to where you want to be, you have to understand where do you want to be. What is that destination for you? Do you want to be a manager in the next coming year? Do you want to make R1,000,000? Do you want to find yourself somewhere at the age of 40 perhaps? So know what you want, and knowing what you want will help you determine what is it that you have to do in order to get there. It will help you, it will align you. You'll now understand what habits do I need to develop. So you develop relevant habits. So number one, know what you want or where you want to be. Number two is you need to do research on what habits are aligned with that which you want to do. You can use the internet, you can read books about people that are in a position that you want to be in, be it being a millionaire, as I've previously stated, or being a manager, or anything. So do research on that. Understand what habits make those people who they are. Understand what habits do they have that you don't have. New habits that you now have to learn to develop in your day-to-day life. Now, doing research is the first portion of it. After doing the research and understanding the habits that are aligned with that what you want, what you need to do is, and this is a trick that works a lot for me, just write them down. Write them down somewhere where you can see them. Now, I've got a big white marking board that I go to have a look at every morning before I start my day. So that is where I write the habits that I want to develop for that week. A good time to do it would be on a Monday at the beginning of your week. On a Monday morning, wake up, just go find a nice place where you know that without fail each and every morning you'll have a look at that place and write down these habits that you want to cultivate. Write them down, and after writing them down, go through your week with those habits in mind. And then at the end of the week, you need to review yourself. You need to review, have I actually lived those habits? How well did I live them? Where do I still need to improve? So constantly doing so, you'll become better and better and better. And before you know it, this new practice becomes a regular practice. It becomes a habit. It becomes something that you do without not even realizing. It becomes something that you do effortlessly because you've put the time into developing that. So go and do research and write the habits down, and then evaluate yourself how well you're doing on those habits. And that is number 2. Number 3 is my personal favorite, and it is you need to do it now. The habits that you have learned about in number 2, the habits that you did research on, you need to do them now. Now, not next week, not next year, not next month. You need to do them now. So I always have a lot of conversations with friends, with family, and sometimes we find ourselves thinking about the future. And then, sometimes we have talks such as, what, if I had 5 million rand in my bank account right now, I'll take 1 million rand and do this, take 500,000 and do this, take so much and do that. Now, I always come back to that and I ask myself, if that is what we're saying we will do when we have 5 million, why don't I do it with the 50 rand that I have? Why don't I do it with 100 rand? So don't wait to get to that desired position before you start living a particular way, before you start having certain practices. Do it now with what you have. So going back to the money example, if you say from that 5 million rand, you're gonna take 1 million and buy a house maybe, then how about for every 5 rand or 50 rand, just take 1 rand or 10 rand, which would be 10%, and then put it away into savings for a house. Like, do it now. Don't wait to be in that desired position before you start practicing these new habits. Because believe it or not, it is these habits that will actually get you to the destination. You're not going to get to the destination without the habits. Because if you struggle with what you have now, the habits that we have now, if we continue with them, it is an indication of how we will live our lives in future. So if I'm gonna talk about the money example again, if you're gonna struggle with the 50 rand or the 500 rand to manage it, even when you get the 5 million, you're gonna struggle. So cultivate the habit now, and it is that habit that will help you get to that millionaire status. It is that habit that will help you get to management status. I mean, I can say the same about being a manager. Someone will tell you that, when I become a manager, I'm going to start dressing in a certain way. When I become a manager, I'm going to start talking to people in a certain way. I'm going to start visiting certain places. Why don't you do that now? Why do you want to wait until you become a manager? Why don't you develop that now? Everything that you want to be, start doing it now. Start having those habits now. So those are basically the 3 things that you can do in order to cultivate those habits that will help you get to where you want to be. Just a quick refresh. Just know what you want. Do research on the kind of habits that are required to get there, and implement those habits in your life now. Okay, so we have come to the end of our video, and I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it informative, and that it can help you in future. And again, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit your to turn on your notifications, so that we can alert you. You can be alerted every time we upload a new video. Thank you.